Dogs podcast. Tonight's show, we're gonna tell some stories from days that's gone by. I've written a book, and it's full of some crazy stories, some funny stories, and some stories that'll probably make you cry. But hopefully, we'll make you laugh and get a chuckle out of some of the stuff that it's some of the things as a family that we've been through and in the outdoors, hunting and fishing. Uh, it certainly brings back fond memories just to read over some of that stuff I had written down. I'm in the process now of finishing the back and front page of the book, and then I'm going to get it published. Um, we're not 100% sure on what we're going to call it yet, but it's going to involve G4 Outdoors, which is our family, 4 generations. But just to get started tonight, I got a little story, something that happened to me in old 3-Shot one day. We were heading down to our hunting club in Heard County, and as we done most mornings, we got up really, really early. We didn't go down there and stay that weekend. We got a camper down there, but we didn't stay that weekend. We just wanted to ride down that morning. So we rode down, and there's a little country store right there at the hunting club, and they have biscuits in there. Well, we was both hungry and wanted to get something to eat, and I think I might have been driving, and old 3-Shot Daddy said, "I'll get out and go in there and get us a biscuit. And just sit here in the truck, and I'll be back in a minute." Well, he went on in there, and get back to the truck and sit down. Had a bag. He sat down there beside us, and I thought, well, okay, we're not going to eat right now. We'll wait till we get down to the club, and we'll just sit in the truck and eat. So we rode on down there. It was about 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles to the club. We pulled off down in there, man. I could just taste that hot biscuit. It's had a cup of coffee. We were ready to go. And we got stopped down there at the camp, and I'm like, "Get them biscuits out." He said, "Oh, we ain't got no biscuits." He said, "I got us a honey bun." I said, "A honey bun? I wanted a biscuit." He said, "Well, there's a story behind them biscuits you need to know about." And I said, "What is it?" He said, "Well," he said, "I went in there, and he said, it was kind of hot, it's still hot outside." He said, "I went in there," and he said, lady was behind the back fixing biscuits, and she was just making biscuits left and right, and she had on a sleeveless shirt. And he said she was getting them biscuits, and toting them over there to where she was working on them at, and she's wrapping them up, and she's putting some on the little pan there she's selling them out of. And he said all of a sudden she took one and stuck it under this arm, and one and stuck it under this arm, and come over and set those biscuits down. And he said that's when I decided we was having honey buns this morning. Yeah. I have to agree with him on that. I don't think I wanted biscuits after she had it up underneath her arm like that.
No, a honey bun never sounded so good. You know what I mean? Like a honey bun never sounded so good. After seeing something like that, I'd have probably ate about anything.
I don't know when the next time I ate a biscuit there. I don't know. It kind of hangs with you. You just don't want to let it go. Every time you go in there and look, you think about her having that under her arm.
Oh man,
it was still warm. I mean, it was early deer season. It was hot, So she had on a sleeveless shirt, and old 3-Shot had to take it a step further and say she had her arm.
I mean, what'd you do? What'd you do? Just walk away? Did you see what was going on and just like?
Just turn around, walk over, and get a honey bun.
I'm just gonna go over here and go to this aisle, get something else because that shit ain't gonna happen out there.
We don't want no biscuit this morning.
No, we don't have that type of biscuits. But I went ahead and ate that honey bun.
I lost my taste right there.
Yeah, that was a bad scene. But yeah, I mean, we have a lot of crazy things that go on. I mean, I'm sure you've got something that I'm sure all of you've done.
So I don't know exactly where y'all got that biscuit at, but there was a place. We'll just say it's in Cobb County. It is in Cobb County, and it's a pretty well known biscuit shack, little gas station over there. And there was a person kind of like you're explaining that was sleeveless shirt and all that. I never experienced her putting biscuits under her arms like you guys did, but I never got a biscuit from that place just because y'all had told me that story before when I was young. Y'all had told me that story since I was a kid. I remember that story. And
Yeah.
I've stopped at this gas station a million times and I never got a biscuit from there just because of the appearance and the let's say the clothing choice and and then the story behind it. I couldn't do it. I would kind of laugh actually every
Yeah.
time I went to that gas station. And I'm sure you've been in this gas station before
I know
too.
exactly which one you're talking about.
And so it was one of them things where I'd pull in the parking lot and just kind of grin a little bit like I remember that biscuit story. And you know, those kind of things really stick with you.
So what you're saying is we scarred you for life. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah, there's only a certain amount of gas stations that I'll get a biscuit from, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
probably part of it. A little bit of biscuit trauma, some
Oh yeah, no doubt.
little biscuit trauma there. But yeah, I got a couple of stories too. A couple of them are kind of, I don't want to say scary, but sort of in the lines of I don't really care how old you are, but there's always a little creepiness to the woods, whether you're walking in before daylight or it's already got dark and you're walking out, maybe you don't want to use a flashlight or either way, there's always something you hear or you think you see or something like that. So we were deer hunting in Heard County on a piece of property we had for years, me and my dad, and it had gotten late, and we're on a power line facing across the power line, a block of woods in front of us, and then there's a block of woods behind us, maybe 100 yards wide, and then a pasture. So we're sitting there hunting, and it got dark, and we're wrapping it up, and we come out, and coyotes were raising Cain. I mean, they were going crazy. 30 minutes before we got out of the stand, and they had kind of gotten quiet, and they were pretty close. I'd say within a couple 100 yards from us, they got close to us, and so we're walking out. So we're walking, and it's where we're walking at. It's a pretty quiet walk. It's not like we're rustling leaves. It's pines around, and we're in a roadway that's cut in a little block of woods. So it's a quiet walk. And so we're like hearing something, and we'd stop for a second, and then the noise would kind of stop, And so we started noticing like a pattern there for a minute. So we'd really listen for it, and the something was walking toward us. It was getting closer, is what it was. So after hearing these coyotes in the back of our mind, we're like, oh, okay, um, coyotes are coming over here. So we get out to almost to the pasture, and we decide that we're going to turn around. We kill flashlights. We turn around, and we're going to wait on them. And we've done talked a little bit. Hey, Dad's going to count down. I got the rifle. He's going to hit the light. I'm gonna shoot whatever walks out, whether it's coyote or whatever was hunting us is what we felt like. And we're walking through there, and Dad's like, we're talking. Dad's like, they're flanking us. It's like we're getting hunted. That's what it was like. I mean, in our mind, from what we heard, the coyotes, barking and howling and stuff like that, and then what we were hearing, right behind us like that was what was fixing to happen. We were getting hunted by coyotes, right? So we were ready. I mean, we had guns in hand. We were ready. So we're sitting there, and it, the noise is getting closer and closer, and we got the flashlights off, and we're sitting there, and I got the rifle kind of up, ready to go, and Dad's like, all right, they're getting closer. 3, 2, 1. He clicks the light. I pop the safety off, ready to shoot, and about that time, I think it was 2 or 3 possums. They come right out into the road, and they're like looking up at the light at us. Their eyes are glowing, and they're like, we scared the hell out of them, and we were terrified. You know what I mean? Like they just kind of sat there and they were stunned. They were stunned, and they ended up going right back in the woods. And I think that we felt so stupid, but we laughed. We laughed so hard about that. But at the same time, we felt so dumb because it was friggin' possums, and it wasn't coyotes. I was like, I was all fired up, ready to kill something, and it didn't happen. I let the possum go. They
We know one thing.
they pulled one on us, so I wasn't gonna crack a shot
Yeah.
off.
There's one thing for sure, they wasn't gonna get us.
No, they wasn't gonna get us.
We was on our game.
Yeah, the bullets might not have hit them, but the sound was gonna scare them away. I mean, it was gonna be loud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was gonna be loud.
Oh yeah, it
Right.
was gonna be loud for sure because we opened fire. Yeah, that's some funny stuff. I think old Three Shot's got a pretty funny story too. He would tell about one time when he scared a guy about half out of his life. Tell us about that story.
That was way down in Monroe County. I went down there by myself and going to hunt a piece of land down there that somebody told me about, a good place to hunt. And I walked on down there in the woods and got on down there next to kind of close to the river down there. And I found a good place up there with a big trail coming right down beside a grassy area with grass about 4 foot high. It's just lush place, I just kind of sat down at the edge of that grass, and I was just practically hid. The grass was whipped on my head, really, and sitting there, and I thought, I'll watch this trail. It's a good active trail, and sat there a while, and I heard somebody walking through the woods coming down the way, and I thought, I wonder who that is. I didn't even know nobody was down there, and I just kind of laid down in the grass there, completely hid. And here come this dude. This was back before people wore fluorescent stuff, he had red on from his head to his toes, and he just kind of creeping down there like he was stalking something, just walking on down there, rifle up here ready. He had a nice rifle. And I let him come on down he got down close to me, and I just kind of ducked down where he couldn't see me. And I wasn't 5 or 6 feet from him when he walked down past me, and he got right past me, and I jumped up and let out a blood curdling scream. He threw that gun out in front of it, just throwed it, hit the ground, bounced 3 or 4 times, and he turned around, and I was laying back there cracked up laughing. And he come back, I said, what'd you think? Fish to get you? He said, I thought it might have been a bear or something, And he said, it scared the hell out of me. I said, you scared the hell out of me when you screamed. We got a big kick out of that. I can see that happening today. It's been a long time ago, but
yeah, that's funny.
That's
the way you get shot.
I couldn't hold myself. I had to do it. It just typical scare. The way he was creeping down through there, looking like he was stalking something, walk up on something, and he walked right past me, not 5 feet from me. He still didn't see me. But when I come up there and screamed out, it scared him so bad. I guess he probably wet his britches too. But I thought that's the funniest thing I've ever done to somebody. Didn't know who he was. Never seen him before.
You wanna scare somebody in a situation like that because it's perfect, right? But they got a gun in their hand, so you're like, you don't know what to think. So we took somebody hunting one time, and I won't mention any names, but they're good people. They're good people. We took these guys hunting, and his father-in-law killed a deer, and I told him just to kind of hang with it for a minute. I'd be over there in a little bit, and we would help him get the deer out. I knew where it was at. It was in a hole. He's gonna need some help anyway. So I think I get over there first, and I walk down there where the stand's at, and of course I'm looking up into the tree because I'm kind of figuring for him to still just be sitting in the stand. And I'm looking up. I get down there where stands at. I'm like, all right, well, he's down, right? So I start looking down the hill towards the creek where probably the only place he's going to be shooting at is going to be down there. So I figured maybe he's down there with the deer. So I'm looking down the creek. I didn't see him. I'm like, what the hell? So I start walking. I get closer and closer, and I get to the base of the tree, and he's laying on the ground, I don't even think he had his orange. I think his orange was off. I'm pretty sure his orange was off, which is funny too. But he's laying at the base of the tree, dead asleep on his back with a pistol in his hand, like this right here, just laying across his chest with a revolver, finger on the trigger. And I'm like, what do I do? Do I touch him? Do I holler at him? You know, kind of what I do? Because if I scare this guy, he might pull the trigger, shoot himself. Because I mean, he might have clipped the ear. You know what I mean? The way he was laying, he might have clipped the ear or something. If he'd have shot himself, I don't think he'd have shot me unless he'd have done something like this. You know, but he could have hurt himself real bad. And so I sat there for, it felt like a long time. It probably wasn't but 30 seconds or a minute. And I finally just kind of backed up a little bit and kind of got behind a couple of trees and I hollered. And the first time I hollered, he moved. He must not have been too much asleep. He didn't hear me walk up. But he must not have been out of it too much. But he woke up without incident, and we were able to go down there and retrieve his deer and all that. And nobody got shot. There was no accidental discharge, nothing like that. But you got to be careful scaring somebody with a gun in their hand. You don't really know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you got that right. What's going on, JC? Good to see you on here, buddy. Yeah, I had a little story. We were on our club down in Heard County. Me and 3 Shot. We're down there, and I think you might have been pretty young when this happened. I don't even know if you were down there really hunting. You were coming down there and hanging out with us because you were young. But at this time, it was just me and him. And we hunted on the very back side of the property. This is back before I got fat. I could walk a long way. So we walked, and I mean, it was a long walk. And we walked in, and back then we hunted from portables. And I had a portable on my back, and I had my gun across my chest. He had one on his back. We was going down through there walking, and it was early in the season. And you know how them October spiders are just everywhere. I mean, what they are is just a wood spider is what they are, but we call them October spiders. But they're going to be able to cross the road. They're going to be able to cross the trail. You're running into it constantly. If you're on the 4-wheeler, you're getting them all over you. So we're walking down through there, and we're going down into the bottom of that swamp. And I mean, when I say swamp, it's swamp. Okay, it's water. And we're easing down through there trying to be quiet. We're going to try to hunt that swamp that morning, and it's sneaking down through there. And all of a sudden, man, I hit a spider web, and it immediately I went into Ninja Fighter and threw the stand off. It slammed on the ground back behind me, and I threw the gun down. I mean, I threw everything, and I'm raking and slinging and trying to get this spider off of me, And I'm finally getting my composure back, and Daddy's like, "Damn, you're gonna run all the deer off down here." I said, "I don't care." I said, "Spider was on me." So we walk on. He's always one. You know how he is. He'll mess with you. Okay. So
yeah.
I've been messed with so much that I just didn't listen to him most of the time because I'd get tired of it, and I knew he was just messing with me. So we walk about another 50, 75 yards, and I got my light in my hand, and I turn around and look at him, and he goes, "Doug," he said, you got a spot on your hat." I said, you don't mess with me. I don't want to hear anything else about spiders. I ain't got no spider on my hat. He said, we walked on. He said, "I'm telling you, you got a spider on your hat."
Big spider.
And I said, "Okay, whatever." And I just reached and got my hat. When I got my hat, my hand hit it, and I pulled my hat down. And when I pulled that hat down, there was a huge spider right on the brim of my hat. I threw the hat down, stand come back off. Everything went flying. I'm making all kinds of racket trying to get that spider off of me, and it scared me bad. Hey, Alan, good to see you on here, buddy. It scared me so bad. But I made so much noise. We didn't see no deer that morning. I mean, we scared everything in that swamp out.
We left.
Yeah, we left. We just turned around and got out of there because it was just, we ruined that place.
I don't know. I don't know if it's because of you or if it's just me or what. I don't like spiders either. I'm not really a bug person anyway. I don't care for bugs. Snakes really don't bother me, which is kind of weird. I mean, I don't want one on me or nothing, but snakes don't bother me as much as like spiders and stuff do. But I remember something, and you might have to help me remember a little bit because I was young. But I remember when I was younger, we were somewhere hunting. Eddie was with us, and this was kind of part of the funny story. Eddie was with us. It was me, you, and Papa and Eddie. And I think we were just doing some scouting, cut some trails or something, and I always wanted to carry the machete. Y'all let me tow. Y'all finally, I think at that time, y'all just like, all right, tote the damn machete. So I toted the machete. I'm cutting everything, I cutting shit that didn't need to be cut. Right.
Right.
So, and then I remember I'm sitting on the ground, sitting up against a tree, just sitting on the ground. And I'm just kind of like looking around. And then all of a sudden, this spider like comes across on the ground, comes across one leg. And when I see him come across the first leg, I go to swinging this machete out of instinct, right? And I ain't even caring if I'm cutting my leg off. I'm trying to kill the spider. So I'm swinging, chopping everywhere. I don't even, after about 3 or 4 chops, I don't even know where he went, but I'm still trying to kill it, And Eddie's over there cracking up. But at the same time, he's trying to tell me to stop. He's like, "You're going to cut your damn leg off." Cause I'm over there. I mean, I'm sitting on the ground, you know what I mean? And I'm chopping at this spider. And I'll remember that. I guarantee you, Eddie remembers that if you ask him, because he was laughing at me.
I've heard him bring it up. He does remember it, and I rember it well too. I remember when that happened too.
He laughed so hard at me because I didn't care about my legs. I just wanted to kill a spider.
Hey, Priscilla, good to see you on here.
Yeah,
that was a funny story. Yeah, about that machete. Because like I said, you kept on about that machete. We finally said, just take the damn machete, okay, and just shut up. Take the machete. Yeah. And what do? You try to cut your leg off with it. I mean, it's crazy. But I don't like spiders. I don't care how big they are. I ain't afraid to say it, man. I don't like spiders.
Yeah.
I don't want them on me. I don't want them around me. I don't want them nowhere near me. I don't like spiders.
Yeah,
I ain't scared of snakes.
I've seen a few big ones. I pulled a pistol on a spider one time, in an apartment complex that I lived in. That's not even a joke. I lived in an apartment complex when I was younger, and I was sleeping on an air mattress on the floor. And my girlfriend at the time wakes me up and she said, "There's a spider on the floor." And I already didn't like spiders, but it's a girl telling me that, so I'm like, whatever. And I kept a pistol right there on the, kind of by where I was sleeping and everything. And so I flipped the light on and I looked down there, and about 2 feet from my head was still to this day, the biggest wolf spider, or whatever you want to call it, that I'd ever seen. And my first instinct was to grab the pistol. I know that sounds funny, but that's how much I hate spiders. First instinct was to grab my pistol. And if there wouldn't have been an apartment below us, I probably would have let a round go at the spider because that's how big the spider was.
Oh my God.
It was nasty. It was nasty.
Yeah. Talking about that spider, and about to chop your leg off. You see what Priscilla said? Hey, Runell, glad you're on here.
Yeah, she ain't down with bugs either.
I tell you one thing, I remember 03 shot. I know you're going to remember this story. We're down in Heard County, and the place was infested with rattlesnakes. It's a little lease that we had down there, a little small lease we had down there next to the Alabama line. And I think you were with us that day. We were in that truck, and we were pulling down this road. We done killed a couple of rattlesnakes that morning.
I think so, yeah.
And then we're coming down the logging road there, and Daddy, we see the snake come across the road. I'm in the back of the truck too. I'm the only one I think got a pistol. And he jumps out of the truck, and the snake went on out there and run up in a hole in the side of the bank. What does he do? He gets a stick and he starts poking this damn hole trying to get this snake to come out. And I'm telling you, leave the snake alone. Well, it don't really matter. Just leave him alone, He's up in that hole, don't worry about it. He just kept gouging that stick in that hole, and next thing I know, snake comes out. And when he comes out, he's pissed. That snake comes out and he's striking at him, and I'm out there with a pistol by then, I'm kind of dancing around, and all of a sudden that snake grabbed his britches leg and had a hold of it. Now this all happened so fast, we had no time to identify what the snake was. But I'm thinking rattlesnake because we done killed 2. It ain't been 2 hours since we killed them. So he's slinging his leg around, that snake slinging around. I'm over there with a pistol going back and forth, trying to get him to be still. And he's like, don't shoot me. like, you got to get that snake off of you somehow. And I mean, it held on for a long time, but he finally slung it loose. And when he slung it loose, it took off again and it got gone. We don't know what that snake was, but I can tell you what he was. He was mean. He come out of that hole biting, but in striking. He grabbed that britches leg. It scared the crap out of me. I knew he rattlesnake good.
Well, he was blinded too when he left there.
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
Yeah, that's the kind of craziness that goes on out there, you know, in the deer woods. I mean, hunting and then fishing too, for that matter. That's some crazy stuff happens.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's always something. You know, I was talking about, you know, earlier when I was a kid, and there always being like creepy stuff, you know, in the woods. I mean, we had a piece of property in Talbot County, and it was probably one of the first couple of years that you started letting me hunt by myself. I'm talking about like without, you know, out of eyesight, right? So we had got to this spot and we walked together for a minute. I think we'd walk together for a minute. You would peel off, and then I'd have to keep walking for a little while to get to where I was hunting. And I had to walk by a cemetery, and cemeteries are creepy anyway in the woods. We hunt close to one now, and it's creepy. But as a kid, you know, you're walking by the cemetery and it's not like manicured, you know what I mean? It's grown up. It's got the old wrought iron fence, spike fence around it and all that. And it's weird looking. And what made it so weird for me, and I probably didn't go by it that many times, but it seemed like now, you know, back then when I was a kid that I walked by this a million times, but there was a deer had tried to jump over this fence and its leg got caught and it hung there and died. And so there was like a carcass skeleton type deal hanging there that I had to walk within 5-10 yards of, you know, when I was going to my stand, I had to walk right by it. And it was so, I didn't even want to look at it, you know, but, you know, kind of thinking back now, it's really not a huge deal, but still to this day, no matter how old you are, the woods are creepy at night. I mean, it's
creepy.
it's
Yeah.
weird sometimes.
Yeah, I remember I was young. I was probably in my early, I don't know, 20s. And my brother-in-law and his brother, we were camping. It was in Heard County, Georgia, where it was at. I know it was Haralson County, Georgia. I'm sorry. And we had I think my father-in-law had a little pop-up camper. And it was one of them kind of slides out, you know, like a little Coleman camper. And the beds slide out on each end, you know, and it just kind of hangs out on a pole, you know, stuck out from the rest of the camper. So we're down there, we're hunting, we're having a good time. It's pitch black dark. I mean, ain't no houses for miles. I mean, you ain't seeing no light. It's dark. When it's dark there, it's dark. So we're out there, you know, and it got dark, and you know, it's time to go to bed. We get ready to go hunting next morning, and we're laying in the bed, and it was sometime in the wee hours of the morning. I don't know exactly how late it was, but it was late, and I heard something outside the camper. Well, I'm in my drawers. I mean, I'm not sleeping in anything but my drawers. So, and it's cold outside, but I was under the covers in there. You know, I was warm, and him and his brother were on the other end of the camper, and that bed on the other end of the camper, because there wasn't but two pull-out beds in there. And I thought, I heard something. I don't know if they heard it or not. I didn't hear them say anything. I thought, there's something out there. So I listened real careful, you know, see if I could hear it again. And I heard something rustling around out there. Well, by that time, I had my attention good. And then I seen one of them pop up over there on the other end of the camper, and I'm like, oh, they heard it too. So this went on for 10 minutes. I thought, well, maybe there's a coon out there or something scrambling around trying to find some food or something, you know. And then it bumped the camper, and I thought, well, probably might be a deer. I don't know what it is. Something out there in the dark. Well, all of a sudden, I'm still laying in the bed now. Something up underneath that camper hit the bottom of the bed where I was laying at and lifted the bed up. It pushed the camper up. I mean, when I say push it up, it moved me in the bed. When it did that, I hit the floor, gun in hand.
Yeah, I gotta go.
I'm putting a ramp in, and I'm like, oh God, I don't know what this is. So nobody else had the balls to go outside, so I was a stupid one. So I went outside. And when I stepped out that front door, I was in my drawers. It's freezing cold outside. and I got a flashlight, and I don't even know what kind of gun I had at the time, probably a 30-30. And I'm toting this gun. I'm looking around. I don't see nothing. I never found out what that was. Have no idea. But I figure it had to be something big, okay, a bear or something. And I didn't sleep the rest of that night. I went back in there and lay back down. And I left that gun loaded all night long, and I don't think I ever closed my eyes. Next morning, I was so tired I couldn't hardly hunt. But I might have been 21, 22, maybe. That scared the life out of me. It scared them too. They didn't go back to sleep either. We were ruined. And from that night forward, I kept a loaded rifle every night. And that's one of my don'ts. Don't have a loaded rifle on the camper, you know. But I didn't have a handgun, so I had to have something. But yeah, that scared the crap out of me. But that's another scary story, kind of like being out in the woods. And hey, Bryce, good to see you on here. So,
so what you remember? Do you remember? This is something I don't think I've ever even asked you about this since then. and you may not remember. Y'all might have been pulling my leg. I don't even know. Do you remember? We were sleeping in the back of the truck. The three of us in the back of Papa's black truck, black Ford. Would have been Heard County, probably off of Beavis Road over there. Okay, it would have been that piece of property over there.
Bigfoot.
And y'all was talking about, it wasn't Bigfoot. Y'all was talking about some cats, and some people had seen some cats, some big cats over there, like some panthers or some somethings over there, and y'all kept messing with me. But now that I think back, sometimes we didn't sleep that night. So maybe y'all really wasn't messing with me, or maybe I didn't sleep that night. And y'all was, I don't remember. But do you remember this particular night? It was cold as hell. And we was cold in the back. It was always cold when we slept in the back of that truck.
yeah.
But we slept in the back of that truck with the camper shell on it. And y'all kept saying something about you thought you heard them cats out there that so and so was talking about. Do you remember?
Oh yeah. He's talking about those long tail guys.
The long tail black cats that somebody had been seeing out there, and y'all had me shook up.
Yeah, I thought we was pulling your leg.
I figured you were, but back then I was like, man, where's these damn cats that they're talking about? I wanted to see one, but I was scared at the same time. I was like, because we're in the back of the truck and there wasn't a whole lot of barrier. You got that little glass door out there. That's about it.
Yeah, Runell said, I bet it was Bigfoot when I was talking about what hit that camper. And of course, Bryce had to chime in real scary when them skinwalkers come out.
Yeah.
Y'all been watching too much TV, I'm telling you right now. But, you talk about Bigfoot, and I might have mentioned it before, but, one of my good friends, he's really into Bigfoot, and he wrote a book, and I've got a copy of the book about Bigfoot. But some of them stories actually, supposedly, some of that stuff in that book was off of our club in Heard County. So, that is the #1 county in the United States for Bigfoot sightings.
It is. I read that one time, and I laughed. I kind of laughed by myself because I'm sitting there reading something random one night, and I was like, Heard County, Georgia is the #1 county, like at least in the Southeast. I think it might have been the United States for Bigfoot sightings.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of meth comes through that west side right there.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean?
Yeah. So I don't know if that plays a part in the sightings, but you never know. He might like Heard County. I don't know. He might like Chattahoochee River. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
I'm telling you, I've heard some things down there that I couldn't identify, but I don't think it was Bigfoot.
Yeah.
There's some sounds in the woods that you can't identify.
No.
And if you say you don't get creeped out sometimes when you go in the woods hunting and you're by yourself, I mean, there ain't nothing like having a stick pop you in the back of the leg while you're walking down through there. You think you're snake. I've had that happen before too. It scared the crap out of you. But I've heard some noises. I mean, your mind starts playing tricks with you. When you get out there. And I'm just trying to get in that stand as quick as I can and get off that ground. It's kind of like the day you were down there when you heard whatever that was doing that killing down on the other end of the property in Kentucky. You wasn't getting down. You didn't want to get out of that stand.
No, I had to at least hang in there until it was over with.
Oh sure. Yeah.
But it's
That's all makes hunting
Yeah.
fun.
And Priscilla said, and those hoot owls that start laughing and it sounds like a witch. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's them barred owls. Them things are they're kind of crazy when they get going, man.
They are
It's
crazy.
loud and they always get close. They're not real far off when they do it. Most of the time they're on top of you. But yeah, we've had some funny stuff go on. I mean, there was one time I remember. It's not a scary story, but it's kind of a funny story. Me and old Three Shot were on Lake Lanier, and we always go up there and fish all day when we go because it's it's an hour and a half drive up there or longer, and we get out there and fish. And we was fishing for about anything that bite. We wasn't just bass fishing. We fish for crappie, catfish, whatever bite, brim. We didn't care. We just fishing, and we always carried snacks. Always carried snacks. Yeah, we carried lunch. I mean, we called lunch a can of beanie weenies and some crackers, but we always carried something to eat and something sweet because we like something sweet out there too. Well, you get hungry while you're on that water. So one day we was out there and we were starving. We've been fishing all day, and I was hungry, and he was hungry, and so let's just stop and get us something out of the box to eat. I said, okay, fine. He reaches down the bag, and we eat our beanie weenies, or whatever we was eating. I might have been Spam, whoever. It probably was Spam and crackers. We ate that, and we wanted something sweet. So he pulls out a pack of them double stacks of those peanut butter wafers. You know what I'm talking about? The ones that you break off, it's like there's two sticks of them there.
Yeah, it's like thin styrofoam with peanut butter in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite cookie, actually. And he whips it out there. He gives me a stack, and I break the stack in half, and I done got half one of them stacks ate before he get the first bite of his, because I love them. And I chewed that thing up, and I get that first one down, and I got that other second half of that stack it gave me, and I bite off into it. And I don't know what made me look, but I looked down and I looked at that cookie, and I just turned over the side of the boat, and I just went to blowing groceries. I mean, I was puking, chumming up fish. I mean, I was just sick. Okay, I'm over. I finally got done, got everything out of me that was in me, and I couldn't say nothing because I was too sick. He's like, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Them cookies. I got it out there. Them cookies." Before I went to gagging again, and I turned over and showed it to him. He went over the side of the boat. He's throwing groceries out over the side of the boat. We lost all of our beanie weenies and potted meat come up. Everything come up. We puked all over the water out there and ruined the fishing. I mean, it was horrible. But them weevils that get in. You know how they get in the summertime? They'll get packages. They'll get in the grocery store. They'll get it in the grocery store. Make them meal flies.
Yeah.
But they're worms. They're worms before they're flies. Okay, like a maggot. Looks just like a maggot, mealworm. And that's what was in that thing. And I done ate a half of one of them stacks, swallowed it before I even realized they was in there. And I was so sick. I was so sick. I mean, we went home after that. We were done fishing. That was it. That was the end of that. I mean, I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. I'm done.
Yeah.
But, you got anything else on your end? Do you think
that would have ruined it. That would have ruined it for me.
Yeah, it took me a while for I get the cookies again.
Yeah. I ain't down with them cookies. I run into a pretty nasty maggot story. I didn't eat none of them, but it's not when I was hunting, but this was pretty gross. Probably the most maggots I've seen and the most aggressive maggots I've ever seen in my life. So when I was young and stupid, and I had two cars at the time. I had a little Mustang, and I think I had a truck or a little car at the time that I drove back and forth to work. And I kept my Mustang at my buddy's house in a garage, and I'd go over there from time to time if I wanted to drive it, and I'd take the license plate off my good car and put it on my Mustang and drive around that way. At least it'd be a good play. But anyway, I wouldn't do it, but every now and then. So this car would sit there. It'd sit there for a couple of months at a time. And I just wanted to keep it in his garage, keep it clean. I left it in there, sunroof out, windows down. I mean, it was clean, nice and clean, climate controlled in there. And I went in there one day, and we walked into his garage, and something stunk really bad. And I was like, "Oh, dude, your cat got in here in my car and peed in it or something." I thought his cat got in there and peed in my car and stuff, because it was this horrible smell. And so I got in the car, fired it up. We backed it out of the garage, and we're both sitting there, and we're like, golly, what's going on here? And we get out of the garage. We thought it was, you know, something maybe in the garage. So we get it out and we drive not too far up the road. And I look in the back seat, and him and I had gone out to eat a long time before this. And apparently one of us had left some to go food laying in the back seat in like a clear plastic to go container, right? And it was hot summertime, and flies had got in there and maggots had gotten and stuff, and the maggots had eaten through the plastic, eaten whatever to go food was in there, and eaten holes through the plastic, and came through the plastic and got out on the seat in my Mustang, and got on, like I had a jacket sitting back there. I stopped the car in the middle of the road. I got out, turned the car off. I threw the jacket in the ditch, threw whatever bag and to go food was in there. I threw it all in the ditch, got everything I could out, and tried not to friggin' puke before I could get the car turned back around and get back to his house so we can clean it out. But you talk about worms and maggots. At least I didn't eat none, but that's the worst maggot experience I ever had. That was disgusting. I've never seen maggots eat through plastic.
Yeah, that was hungry maggots, wasn't it?
Saber tooth.
Yeah. I'm telling you, they ate slap through that plastic.
You imagine how mean them flies was when it turned into flies?
Oh, God,
that's bad. Yeah, I seen a pretty nasty thing. I was hunting one day in Heard County again, and you know, we hunt over by that pasture, and the farmer, you know, he raised cows over there, and I'd wandered around there somewhere. There was a big pine thicket or something. I could smell something. I'm like, what is that smell? I never could pick up on what it was. I thought it might have been a deer. You know, somebody shot a deer and it died somewhere over there or something. And I walked around the corner, and there was a cow that had died, and he had pushed it over with his front end loader, I guess, out of the pasture and put it over in the edge of the woods. And it was laying there. That thing was blown up like a balloon. And there was a big hole in the side of it, and possums was walking in and out of that thing. I watched.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. And it was funky, boy. I'm telling you right now, if you don't think a possum ain't nasty, a possum is nasty.
That is nasty.
Out there, and it was, I mean, the possum was in there working alive, and that thing just, you know, getting their meal. You know, it was horrible. Runell said that after hearing all these stories, she's probably going to have nightmares tonight.
Who said that?
Runell did.
My sister.
Hey, yeah. Hensley, good to see you on here, buddy. He's replying to Bryce's. No joke. Those things are crazy. Tyler, y'all have been watching too much TV, man. You and Bryce both watching too much TV about these skinwalkers and all that stuff. You know, they say they're in Paulding County.
No, they
watch on TV. I'm telling you.
I ain't never referred to them as skinwalkers, but they some weird people in Paulding County. Okay.
Yeah, but that's got something to do with meth. Okay.
Yeah, they some characters in Paulding County.
Yeah, well, there ain't no doubt about that.
So
there's plenty of woods for them to hang out in up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember a story about. These are all in the book that I've written. These stories are, and I'm giving you the short version of it because there's a whole lot more that goes on with it. But I had two beagles one time, and I know Brandon remembers this because those dogs were pets. Not only were they hunting dogs, but pets. Yeah. And their names was Sally and Daisy. And I got them from a friend of mine named Jeff, and raised those puppies all the way up till they got big enough to run. And then I took them and trained them, and they got to run rabbits, and they turned out to be two of the finest rabbit dogs. I mean, I didn't have any papers on them. They were full-blooded, but I didn't have any papers on them. And, you know, I wasn't going to get rid of them anyway because we loved the dogs because they were pets. And so we used to rabbit hunt quite a bit. And me and one of my buddies, he had asked me, he said, you want to go down to South Georgia, go rabbit hunt? And I told him, yeah, man, we'll go to South Georgia rabbit hunting. So, you know, we got planned to make the trip down there. I think it was about a 4.5 hour drive down there. And I won't name any names, but he owns a hardware store over in another town over close to us. And they're real famous. they're real famous people over here. I mean, everybody knows them, and one of them was a politician at one time, but it's his brother, and he was always had the finest of everything, you know. And he had a pen full of beagles, and they had papers, they had bloodline a mile long. They were the finest dogs known to man. To hear him tell it, so, but he always talked about he had the finest stuff, you know. And so I loaded my dog books up on a truck. We headed to South Georgia, and he loaded his box up, and I think he threw 7 or 8 dogs in there, you know, and took them down there. And I had my 2 dogs, and we got down there and went to hunting. And it's some sand rabbits. You know, they're kind of a small looking, dark looking rabbit. They don't get very big, so that's what we were hunting because it was real sandy soil down there, peanut fields and stuff like that. So we dumped his dogs out on the ground. He called bragging about dogs. I said, "Hey, I'm gonna get my dogs." He said, "Oh man, you leave your dogs in the box right now." Well, I'm thinking, man, my dog's been in that box for 4.5 hours. They getting out of that box. He said, "Well, you can let them out. They go to the bathroom, put them back, and we'll put your dogs down in a little while." I didn't like it because I was my dogs get down and run. He didn't want my dogs running. It's fine dogs because mine didn't have any papers, and his was, the best that ever, hit the ground. So
Right.
kind of pissed me off right out of the gate. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I left my dogs in the box, and he let his dogs out. My dog was just trying to tear the box up, trying to get out. They wanted to get out. We went and hunted for about 3.5, 4 hours. Those dogs ain't seen a rabbit, ain't smelt a rabbit. I don't think they would know one if they saw it. And then my buddy Mike, you know how Mike was, and Mike could say about anything. And he looked at him and said, "I don't believe them dogs pick a rabbit out of a lineup 9 out of 10 times," and it made him mad. Well, we started ragging about his dogs. Says your dogs ain't. We know there's rabbits down here. Your dogs ain't running the rabbits. What's the problem? And we just kept ribbing him. He got madder and madder and madder. His name was Chris. That's all I'm gonna say. His name was Chris, and he kept on getting madder and madder and madder. So finally, I said, "Look, let me get my dogs out of the box." I kept saying, "Let me get my dogs out of the box. Put your dogs up. Get my dogs out of the box." He said, "I tell you what, I'll put my dogs in the box. You get your Sally and Daisy out of the box and bring them on out here." So I just moseyed on up there to the truck, opened the doors, but my dog dumped out. Well, they hadn't been on the ground 5 minutes. We were running rabbit. That made him even madder because then Mike started in on him about his dogs, and my dogs were tearing one up. I mean, they're driving a rabbit.
Mike's the heckler in the crowd.
Mike likes to ag it on, and he was not letting him get by with it. So he got his dogs, put them in the box, of course, and we killed a rabbit, and then the dogs, got the dogs straightened back out again. We didn't go very far, and they hit another one. Daisy was a jump dog, and man, if there's one around, she's gonna pull it out of there. So she got the rabbit going, and they're both running. 2 dogs running on the ground. They're running good. So we got another rabbit race going. Well, Mike just kept on. And finally, he got mad, turned around like a little 2-year-old, and walked straight out of there, got in the truck, and drove back up here, and left us down there hunting with my 2 dogs. And we killed some rabbits and come back. But that old boy was mad. I'm telling you right now, it pissed him off when he started talking about them fine dogs he had. Because, I mean, he had a nice kennel, but he never fooled with them dogs.
Yeah.
We loved on our dogs like they were pets. People say, "Oh, don't love on your dogs. They won't never be worth nothing." But I can tell you right now, I don't care what anybody says. That's 2 of the finest rabbit dogs ever had.
Yeah. Part of dogs, and that's training. You hear a lot of people, and I'm not going to knock it, but you hear a lot of people pay all this money to have these dogs trained for a certain something. Okay. Whether it could be for hunting or it could be for just basically just some commands at home: sit, stay, do whatever, anything other than get you a drink out of the fridge.
Yeah.
Is kind of a win really with a dog. But if you form a bond with a dog quickly and do it consistently, you can train a dog to do pretty much anything you want it to do within reason, just short of getting you a drink out of the fridge very easily. It's not hard. I got 2 dogs right here right now. I got a 5-month-old puppy laying on the bed right now. I hadn't said a word to her. She's laid right here, hadn't done nothing, and it's took very minimal training. And since day 2, she has responded to names and commands and all that. And I'm no dog trainer. So just because you spend thousands of dollars on a dog or on whatever, and your dogs can run coons or run rabbits or whatever they're doing, doesn't mean that somebody's pets, or some kind of dog that you wouldn't think that you had any kind of money tied into can't get a job done, because it don't take thousands of dollars to train a dog.
No, it takes patience.
Yeah.
And I took those dogs out. I'll never forget the first time they ever had a rabbit. I used to take them over to it was like a pine thicket with some honeysuckles in it that my brother-in-law's grandfather owned it. And it was just a small tract of land. It might have been 4 or 5 acres.
But we trained them dogs in our neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, we did.
In about a 4 or 5 acre patch of woods with some rabbits that we trapped. I remember that's how we got them dogs started. And then we ran rabbits over there at Joey's.
Yeah, we went over there. I'll never forget the first one. The first time I carried a shotgun with me, and the first rabbit that they ran and brought completely back to me, I shot the rabbit.
Yeah.
And from that day forward, those dogs were on it. They were on point. I'm telling you, it was amazing. They were good. They were so good.
It came natural. I mean, it came so natural. Like a couple of little training things, and got a scent in their nose, and bam, it was game on.
Yeah, I mean, they just like they knew what they were doing. I mean, it was crazy. But I miss them dogs. They were great dogs, and
they were good dogs.
Of course, y'all were kids when we had them, and y'all grew up with them. I mean, and I had them later on. They finally, one died, and I had to have the other one put down because she was in such bad health. But they were good dogs, but it really made old Chris mad. I mean, he talked trash about his dogs all the time, how good they was. And I'm telling you, when I tell you them dogs never struck a rabbit, they never struck a rabbit.
Yeah.
I mean, they were running over rabbits. I know they were.
I like to see that when somebody talks so much trash like that and talks herself up, and then somebody does something simple and just shuts them down and don't even really put any effort into it. I mean, it's kind of like one of these kind of deals, like, okay, whatever, but you ain't even got to say it. You know what I mean? It's like,
right,
you treated me like crap, and that's kind of what you get. You know what I mean? That's what you get. That's what you get.
Yeah, you're thinking of Mike, how Mike stirs up everything. That's how old 3-Shot got his name. Mike gave it to him.
Yeah.
And we were rabbit hunting, as a matter of fact. Daddy's got this model 1100 410, and it holds 3 rounds. And if a rabbit come by, he getting shot at 3 times. I don't care if you hit him on the first round. Three rounds coming out of that gun.
Yeah.
And Mike was going and said, I knew it was you shooting because you shot 3 times. He said, we're gonna start calling you old 3-Shot, and that's exactly where he got his name from.
Yeah. Yep.
And it ain't never left him. But that was funny. But he's right. Every time, a rabbit come flying by there, he was spinning 3 rounds, whether he hit him, killed him on the first shot, and he's gonna spin him other 2 rounds too. Just funny. Because he could. But that was some funny times going out there doing that stuff, and we had a ball doing it. I missed the rabbit hunting. I missed the field trialing. I think we had 14 dogs at one time. Rabbit dogs. Daddy had some over his house, and of course I had Sally and Daisy, and I had a couple more dogs too that I bought later on. And trained them too. And we had some good rabbit races. A lot of fun with them, killing rabbits. But I don't think I can chase dogs anymore. Them days are over.
Yeah. Well, we're getting close. We're getting close to an hour here. I want to close it with, I got some more stories that I want to tell. That I'd say a couple of them. I'd say a couple of them would be, you'd probably call it a core memory of when I was a kid. And as far as hunting goes and stuff like that, something that's really sticks out to me is about coon hunting. But I don't want to get into that, because here pretty soon I plan on having the guy join our show. He's one of the dads on my son's baseball team. We got to talking, a while back and stuff like that. And he's a big coon hunter, and coon hunting's kind of a lost sport nowadays. You don't hear of a lot of people doing it, but we did it a lot when I was younger, and it's really a lot of fun. And if I had you know, if I had, you know, the means to do it close by and the time and stuff like that, I'd probably do it. Just because it is a lot of fun. But we're gonna have this guy on here pretty soon. So I'll save some of those stories for when we have him. That way it'll kind of go on with the show. But I imagine we'll definitely have some pretty good coon hunt stories. I can remember several just right off the top of my head.
Yeah, you see Priscilla's little response over there.
Yeah, I've seen that firsthand. By the way,
yeah.
I don't want to rub it in, Jamie, but a couple of years in a row actually. So
Yeah, no doubt. But I tell you a little secret. You can say what you want to say. Better not no deer walk out in front of the girl.
no,
Because he is not long for standing around. He's gonna fall down.
no, she slam one.
Oh, in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll kill him all right. But yeah, it looks like we're approaching that hour mark, and I really appreciate everybody being on here. I hope you tune in again next Wednesday night. Hopefully, we're going to have that coon hunter on here. I think he said he's going to try to do it next Wednesday.
Yeah,
If not,
either that, or I might wait. We'll see what's going on, but I might wait till a night, the next night where I'm at home, so I'm more comfortable.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll be at work next Wednesday night, so let's keep it. We'll keep it tentative on the date for that, but we're gonna have him on here, and I'd rather be at home. That way, I'm 100% comfortable and can do like I want to do. So
yeah, exactly.
so that's how we'll play that. But I'll keep in touch. I'll keep in touch with him, and I'll let you know.
Again, thanks everybody for being on here. We're gonna call it a night. Be safe.